Guys, let's speak about one of the less popular Warhammer 40k games available on Steam platform Regicide. I will try to discuss why do I think it is not so much popular, but on the other hand, why it is not a bad game either. Let's consider this video a gameplay review video. I will run a Showmatch versus Veteran Master Regicide AI on the background. So what is Regicide? Originally in Warhammer 40k lore, it is a game similar to chess, played by elites of Imperium society to have some relief within the grim dark future war-torn galaxy. The game issued by Hammer4 Group in 2015 is a turn-based strategy combining traditional chess rules with additional so-called initiative phase, where you can spend action points so your pieces are able to do more stuff like shooting, throwing frag and crack grenades and shielding themselves with protective energy fields. Is combining these elements, traditional chess together with tactical initiative phase, a good thing? My personal opinion is that it's a bit controversial, because you are forced to move your Warhammer 40k units in an unnatural geometrical way of chess pieces. I understand Librarian, who in fact represents Space Marine's Queen chess piece, can be more mobile because of some psychic abilities, but are tactical Space Marines really so clumsy like chess pawns? On the other hand, chess players can be disappointed that their elegant game of precisely computed force tactical sequences of threats and captures can be spoiled by a dicey initiative phase. Imagine that you just finished a move threatening checkmate on the next move. The opponent doesn't cover this lethal threat with his own move. In classic chess, that means game over for him, because you can just deliver checkmate now. But here in Regicide, your opponent, for example, manages to kill one of the pieces from your precisely prepared checkmating net with a crude slash of an orcish axe during his initiative phase. Beauty of chess combinations and eye-catching sacrifices is somewhat lessened in Regicide. Regicide rewards more of a safe, cautious approach of slowly increasing firepower advantage over parts of the battlefield and rotating wounded pieces behind infantry lines. Of course, you can just choose to play only with classic chess rules, but in this case the game misses some of the features typical for standard chess applications and websites, like post-game computer analysis, scripted trainings of important chess positions and endgames, and database of master chess games to improve your opening play. So you can play it as battle chess with cool graphics, but with less distinguishable pieces, and it works well on basic level. But don't expect a very sophisticated chess program here. And if you want to play such an iteration of battle chess idea, but with cool Warhammer 40k skins, there is not so much even for this goal within Regicide. You can choose some Space Marine and Orc skins, but the other Warhammer 40k factions are not available. This applies not only to classic but also Regicide variation. Just 2 factions are playable. Let's go back to Regicide variation. How does it feel to play? Well, I strongly believe movement phase, that means classic chess phase, has a huge impact for the result of the match. If you just lose your queen because you put it on endangered space, it means a lot. Anyway, Regicide specific initiative phase has also an impact. You start with 3 action points, and you can change these action points into executing unit abilities and global abilities. If you don't spend all your action points, you can save some for your next turn. You can store up to 5 action points altogether. Let's imagine you are within range of an enemy pieces and you hit these pieces with 5 snapshot. That is a basic ranged ability costing 1 action point each. This can be enough for vanquishing 2 wounded pieces for sure, if you manage to land most of the hits. Imagine killing both Space Marine Librarian, that means the Queen, and let's say Assault Marine Jetpack Unit, that means a Knight, in 1 turn. That's a pretty crushing blow, based just on initiative phase. During classic movement phase, you can get rid just of 1 opponent's piece or pawn, of course. Generally speaking, movement phase still defines the course of the game, but the initiative phase is also impactful. I would estimate the ratio of importance is like 60 to 40. That means if you are dropping pieces for free during movement phase, you can do much. But if both players are doing quite fine in movement phase, initiative phase can shuffle results a lot. If you are familiar with chess a bit, you know each piece has a rough estimated price in pawns, which is good to keep in mind because it helps to decide which traits are advantages, which are okay and which are not. For example, you are not normally trading rook for a bishop if it is not forced. Because of the initiative phase, this value of pieces is changed. This change is apparently in this direction. Value of pieces and pawns is less different in Regicide than in standard chess, although I am not sure about specific values. I guess knight is probably like less than 2 pawns. It is very vulnerable by pawns snapshots. Bishop like more than 2 pawns, especially the York bishop called Lutta, and rook and queen are not so much different in value compared to each other like in classic chess, because the rook is beefier here, although it doesn't have such a regenerative potential with spells. Choosing so-called global abilities from the armory before the start of Regicide match can help to support specific playstyle, like more orky bold one focused on crazy attacking, or more control focused with a lot of shielding, shrouding and healing, fitting more for the Space Marines. You can choose up to 4 global abilities for every matchup, like Space Marines versus Orcs, Orcs versus Orcs and so on, and you can buy them from the armory after earning some in-game experience by playing campaigns, skirmishes and multiplayer. What more can we say about Regicide gameplay? Well, I think initiative phase is making the game paradoxically less deep compared to standard chess, because you can compensate for opponents' super sound moves with landing enough bullets. This can be in fact a good thing for quite a casual chess and Warhammer 40k fans, because you are not pushed into very time-consuming serious chess study so much. Solo strikes across the board with a queen or bishop are usually punished themselves by defending player, even though you ate a rook or another valuable piece for free before. You are going to lose your solo attacker during the opponent's initiative phase, because you are so close to a large group of defenders who are going to scratch you. There are some good positions in chess which turn to be quite bad in Regicide. Imagine so-called knight outpost. In standard chess, the knight is well placed and protected by a pocket of enemy pawns, so the opponent cannot target it easily, for example with a rook. But in Regicide, these pawns are going to execute him quickly during initiative phase, especially if they happen to be orcs with +2 damage bonus in melee. So knight outpost in Regicide is more like a trap. Some differences apply also for the openings. I don't recommend popular so-called open e4 openings so much with vivid active piece development and aggressive play like Juco or Scotch game. Why? Because if you put your pieces to active positions closer to the center of the board, you can lose them quite quickly during opponent's initiative phase, because they happen to be in range, especially on the c4 bishop square. On the contrary, careful openings and build-ups like hedgehog formation or queen's gambit focus more on pawn advancements or safe play, with pieces putting some pressure on opponent's position from afar seem more preferable. I have quite a lot of fun in Regicide variation against the AI, even though Regicide variation AI plays quite a suspicious movement phase, so even many typical casual players can have a good fighting chance, beating it with careful play and good usage of action points. By the way, this doesn't apply for classic chess variation here, where the veteran master AI plays solid chess, possibly on expert level. On Regicide Veteran Master it plays differently, that means much worse, when the move quality of the movement phase alone is taken into account. So well, if you want to play a casual friendly chess-like game with good graphics and Warhammer 40k skins, sip some coffee and don't haste anywhere, then Regicide vs AI is cool. It is a very good game for tablet for sure. But there is a very large red but. If you already train a bit and you want to challenge some other players online, then you are going to be frustrated. There are two variations of multiplayer: timed match, 3 minutes per move, and so-called asynchronous match, where officially you have 1 day per move, so it is similar to so-called correspondence chess, but they have both huge problems. Regicide multiplayer is not so much used at the moment. I'm speaking about autumn 2020, so we are probably not going to meet many opponents online. People in the Steam discussions just recommend to play with Steam friends. I just managed to meet one opponent for the timed match after using many automated searches, and this guy just resigned before the first move was played, so he most probably clicked multiplayer by accident. And asynchronous matches technically don't work at all at the moment. They should end in victory if opponent doesn't move in 24 hours. I had like 5 games where the opponents didn't move for days and nothing happened. So I was not even able to start a game because there is a max limit for active asynchronous games. I read on the Steam forums that this seems to be a general problem. So here we have a clear answer why this specific Warhammer 40k PC game is not popular. It's hard to make it more popular without functional multiplayer. If devs are able to fix it, I'm sure that many casual and even more advanced chess players and Warhammer fans can give it a try and play it at least slightly more often. So is there some conclusion from this gameplay review? Sure, as a relaxing game where you cannot devote full attention to a more demanding games at the moment, like exceptional Warhammer 40k Dawn of War Soulstorm, this turn-based chess and Warhammer 40k hybrid can work also because of good graphics, sounds and animations. I am downplaying some animations here, not to make the video too brutal. I would say it is especially good for tablet, when you can just lay on couch and try a game or two versus the AI or some campaign missions. But it has huge issues with the multiplayer. If you are not having many Steam friends, you are probably not going to be able to play multiplayer at all because of its current low traffic and also because of major technical issues with asynchronous games. This is really the most important disadvantage, which makes my rating of the game fall from, let's say, 7.5 out of 10 into, let's say, 4.5 out of 10. For the tablet, it keeps high rating because there are not so many good Warhammer 40k games to compete with this one on the Android platform. So it is a good relaxing game for a person who enjoys chess and Warhammer 40k.